What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are checking out the new Ryan Beatty album, which is called Sweet Fortune. Last week we checked out the lead single to this album, which is called Secret Language. I loved it. It was a great song. And that's on the channel, so definitely go react to that. I'm really excited because this is my first time listening to a Ryan Beatty album. I've been meaning to get into Ryan Beatty. One of my friends actually sent me a copy of his album Calico in vinyl, and I have not played it yet. I know a couple of songs off of that. I specifically three songs off of that. Bruised Off the Peach, Andromeda, and Cinnamon Bread. Those are the three songs I know of that. And just based on those three songs, I've been wanting to check out his music for a long time. So I'm excited to do that now, and if all goes well, maybe in the future we'll check out Calico. I know that this is an anticipated follow-up. He's hot off of winning 2 Grammys for his work on the album Cowboy Carter. I know that Clairo is all over this album, which I'm really excited for. I love Clairo, big fan of hers. I've heard a lot of her music as well. And maybe we'll dig a little bit further on Clairo on the channel too. But yeah, I'm really excited to get into this album, so let's not waste any more time. We're going to start it off with track 1, which is called Phantom. Okay, ballad. Interesting way to start an album. You don't see that very often. I love the bass in the back.
Spotlight simmers on the floor and falls on the ingenue and powder blue, and I watch her from the wings. She parodies the spring and wilts away like cattails in the wind. I bet.
Oh, I love his voice.
But
oh my
I
god.
don't fold. I'm feeling old and phantom limbed and gray. But it's love held with dirty hands.
This is very like wedding song cadence, you know what I mean?
Everything's a sacrifice, whether you're smiling like a winner or crying like a clown. So
Oh wow.
I'm leaving you with this.
Oh, I love how the song is like
something you can miss.
growing. It's like blooming.
Here before the final bow, is it everything you wanted with roses on the ground? Cause it's love held with lonely hands.
We're even picking up in the octave. I feel like we're slowly going up.
Everything's a sacrifice, whether you're crying like a winner or clapping in the stands.
And that's it for the lyrics. Okay. That's gonna be a long instrumental. Not that I mind. I love his productions. His choices are always so good. Alright, that was track 1, Phantom. That was the opener for the album. I think this was a pretty interesting choice for that. Because this was pretty stripped back and short in terms of like what we're getting from Ryan. It was very wedding songy. I felt like, especially it like starts kind of slower. It's just the piano with the bass in the back, and then as you progress through the song, it definitely picked up. Like the percussion came in on that second verse, and then a bunch of instrumentation comes in. That was great. And then he also like, not only is the instrumentation what's giving you that climax, but then I'm pretty sure that he was bringing there was like a key change or something. He was bringing the actual notes of the melody higher and higher up until towards the end he was fully belting. The melody to me for the chorus sounded a little bit like Risk It All for Bruno Mars, if you've heard that, and it was also the same sort of vibe. Slow, kind of like swaying kind of love song. Yeah, it's an interesting song because it doesn't really give me much to like as an opener, it's certainly not serving the purpose of showing you a kind of a glimpse of what to expect. You know what I mean? I don't really know what this project is going to be about yet. I don't know what Sweet Fortune means to him, and we'll find out what that means in the actual title track. But this, for me, I'm like, aesthetically, it's a good intro. Lyrically, I'm like, I guess it is kind of a window in. You know what? Maybe I'm going to take that back. It is kind of a window in because it sort of paints this picture for you, right? Where it's clearly, it seems like it's someone at a concert he's seeing, or like at a club or something like that. He's watching her from the wings. She's like, and then she's kind of like on the floor with like the spotlights and stuff like that. And he's talking about kind of watching her from a distance. And then there's a little bit of commentary on love. Yeah, I don't know. It's leaving me intrigued, that's for sure. He's definitely got me hooked. But I think as far as songs go, this one was really pretty, but it was also it felt very safe. It felt very, very stripped back, very... Yeah, I don't think it really gave me much substance-wise. Yeah, not much more to say on this one. I don't know. Maybe it'll make more sense as we progress through the album. Maybe I don't know. But right now, it's not really giving me much as an intro or an opener. It's not really offering anything up, in my opinion. But it's a pretty song, and he sounds great. All right, let's get into the next track, which is called White Lightning. White Lightning, to me, that sounds like what every white boy who played basketball had the nickname of. And you know what I mean? But from what I understand, this is also like what you call moonshine.
I don't know when to quit. You call and I can't resist. You're the first of your kind and the last on my lips. I know you're...
What a beautiful way to call this person a soulmate. Wow.
So you can stay if you don't break my heart. Sometimes I don't know what I want until you take it away. Hey, thanks for the dance and the kiss. White lightning, I go until you pull me back in. He's bright when everything dims. And no one is mine if no one is him. Oh, let's not make this hard.
Okay. All right, Ryan.
Sometimes I shatter, but now I wish on every star that you don't walk away.
He's such a romantic writer. It's him and Bad Bunny, man. They're both such romantic writers.
I said now let's not make this hard. It's my religious shame.
Is this about a queer relationship? I think it is.
Sometimes I don't know what I want until I can't have my way. All the tears that I cry,
backing belt, that's cool.
all the ways I get by to keep the feeling alive. I see the pain in your eyes. It's only shame and goodbye. So don't leave me here on my own.
Wow. I love the sonicscape he's using. A lot of orchestral elements. A little bit of like... He's got a little bit of brass. I know we heard brass on Secret Language. But then harmonica mixed in. That's cool. I don't really know what genre you'd call it though. Other than like indie. It's very like Toy Story, very Western. Very much like jamming around the campfire kind of vibes. I don't know, that's just what it's given me. Alright, that was track 2, White Lightning. I liked this more than the first song, definitely. This was a really pretty love song as well, but he also balances the love with a lot of like fear as well. There's a lot of doubt in his voice throughout the song the entire time. It's not enough just to say, like, you know, that he really cares about this person or whatever. It's also like, he's like, I see the pain in your eyes, it's only shame and goodbye, so don't leave me here on my own. The main part of the chorus is the fact that he's concerned that this person will leave him. So it's not a secure love, but it is a strong one. This sounded like it was about a queer relationship. I'm pretty sure he's dating a woman right now, but this a little bit sounded like it was about a queer relationship, because he says, he's bright when everything dims, and no one is mine if no one is him. Damn, I didn't know about that. I didn't know that about Ryan Beatty. That makes me like him more, honestly. But yeah, this was really beautiful. It was, I mean, it was very real, you know, desperately wanting to be in love with this, or wanting to love this person, but also kind of bracing for it to hurt and being scared about it all failing, and having your heart broken because of it. Yeah, and I love, like, the country thread throughout this. I think even lyrically, when he's talking about moonshine and the fact that it is white lightning, but also sonically, you know, with the harmonica, with the specific instrumentation choice that he has, it's very, like, the country threads and country influences are really strong, but not in the way of, like, your typical country that you hear today on the radio, which is very stadium country, very fake drawl, etc. This feels authentic. This feels real. I get why he was picked for Cowboy Carter. He's clearly got it in him. He's got the right influences. This is beautiful. All right, this next track is track 3, and it's called Virtuoso. I think this one might be a single. I've been seeing something. I've been seeing chatter about this song online, so I think this is a single. I could be wrong. I don't know. We'll find out. Oh, I thought that was a siren for a second. I wasn't sure what I was hearing.
Where to go, I wouldn't know. I heard a call out west. Go rush running in a copper pot.
Oh, this is so country.
Though I cannot hold you close like a rose upon my chest.
Wow.
Hell, if I don't see you anymore, doesn't mean I love you less. Ooh.
I love a good lyric with rose in it. Anything with roses, I'm like immediately on board. Because that's just so romantic. It's so pretty.
2 thumbs waving in the wind like nothing you could buy. But I'll pump a little gasoline if you get me there tonight. 2 then green, well, shame on me if I show up underdressed. Cause I always wear your borrowed things till I end up wearing less. Hey, trying to hold me down is like holding on to rain. I'm not an empty gun, I'm the bullet flying away.
He's wearing this person's clothes. This is definitely...
Letting go of what you hold you just the same.
Wow.
Hey, trying to hold me down is like holding on to.
So basically he's a flight risk. That's what he's telling this person. He's already on his way out. A lot of, like, doubt and insecurity on this. That's, like, very subtle. Like, on the album so far.
Time turns to turning me on. I want you right back the moment I'm gone.
These are some short-ass songs. Or maybe they're not short, actually, because this one's... Wait, yeah, these aren't short at all. They feel short. That means they're spaced really well. His timing must be really good in terms of the chorus and the verses, because I thought this was short. I was like, this has to be like 2.5 minutes. No, it's 3 minutes and 40 seconds. That's crazy. All right, that was track 3. It's called Virtuoso. And yeah, this kind of continued to carry, like, not the doubt part, I guess, but more on the other side. I feel like track 2, he was kind of talking about how he's worried about the other person leaving. And then track 3 in Virtuoso, he's more like, he's talking about how he himself is a flight risk, that he might bolt. He might just, you know, up and leave. I mean, especially he said, I'm not an empty gun. I'm the bullet flying away. I'm already on my way out of here. I'm gone. You know what I mean? Which is so interesting. And, like, there's that fear of, like, missing out instead of the fear being left by that person. Now the fears become, he's talking about the more that I miss, the more that I want. So basically now it's just like FOMO, effectively. This song is kind of about the fact that he continues to move from relationship to relationship because he's worried about what he might be missing, which is... He's kind of a playboy. But yeah, this was like more upbeat. It was more movable. It was fun. This was like a nice one. It also was like very country. It was very, very backwoods country. Yeah, I'm loving his influences on this. All right, let's get to track 4, which is called Secret Language. This is the lead single, so we already checked this out. Make sure you take a look at that video. It's in the description. But we're gonna listen to it again to see how this fits into the context of the full project.
Faking the dream, the true American grit. I'll admit I'm a bit of a mess, 'cause I'm fragile and tired, wounded and weak, and my words are useless defense. You put your palm out and spit like a proud idiot.
Basically, he's talking about how like he's incredibly vulnerable right now.
And then charmed me to bed.
Completely disarmed by whoever this person is.
If only I could exist without it leaving my lips, and my touch was enough to confess. All the ways I say it
Oh, I love this
in
voice.
a secret language. Did you hear what my words couldn't tell? I keep it all to myself, but I don't think it's fun.
So basically it's about like him having trouble actually talking about love and telling this person he loves them, so he like finds other ways to do it. That's his secret language, sending them a song, you know.
You're going deep, fell asleep with our bodies undressed. It's so hard to let go, it's so hard to let in, but you seduce what I always suppress.
I love the use of trumpet in this. It's so well placed.
Did you hear what my words couldn't tell? I love you, I say it in a secret language.
I do really like to think about the making of these songs in the context of real life. You know what I mean? Where in this song he's kind of talking about how he doesn't necessarily know how to tell this person he loves them, and so he's made this song, right? And in the song he's like talking about the ways he does it. You know, he sends them a song, he shows them physically, right? But like the fact that this mirrors that he might have actually made this song to tell someone that he loves them. I just love that, you know what I mean? And then we get to hear it and share it.
I love you, I say it in a secret language. Did you hear what my words couldn't tell? I keep it all to myself.
Alright, that was Secret Language. That was the lead single. Gorgeous song. We've heard it before. But yeah, this is Ryan trying to figure out how to say I love you without actually saying it. He talks about how the situation he's in is incredibly vulnerable. He's feeling weak. He's feeling fragiled? Whatever. You know what I mean. I meant frazzled and fragile at the same time. But yeah, so he's like completely disarmed. He's really vulnerable, and sometimes in those situations it can be hard to then do the bold thing, do the scary thing of just saying I love you. And so then rather than saying those 3 words, he finds other ways to do it, right? He sends them a song, he shows them physically. But I think it's a really meta song because it's very possible that he actually made this song to give it to someone, to tell them that he loves them in a secret language, and I think it's just so special that people are able to do that, use music in their own lives in that way to convey what they're feeling, and then we get to kind of share in it and get to hear it too, you know what I mean? Maybe what I'm saying is incredibly stupid, like, whoa, what if music was about real life, and then what if we got to hear it after, you know what I mean? Like, it kind of sounds stupid saying this, but I think I mostly notice it with Ryan, because Ryan, he's a talented songwriter in that what he's saying is beautiful, and he's able to convey it in a beautiful way with a lot of rich influence and history and culture like sewn into it, but at the same time it's not worded so confusingly that it's something you have to struggle to relate to or struggle to understand. You can see this play out, you can understand it. I feel like I got placed in his head for a second, of being in love with someone but being too scared to say it. I can absolutely feel what he's talking about, and there's so many, it's not just like a flat emotion of I'm sad, I'm scared, I'm angry. There's so many different colors to it, which I really appreciate. So, beautifully written song. All right, let's move to track 5, which is the title track. It's called Sweet Fortune. I'm really excited. I don't really know what sweet fortune means. You know what I mean? I don't know. I mean, it's lazy, but sometimes you hear the title of an album and you can kind of guess what it's going to be about. You can kind of glean it. Sometimes artists will like reveal it a little bit. Not that I've been keeping up with his socials. Maybe he has revealed it. But yeah, I just don't have anything to go off of, which is kind of exciting. So yeah, I'm excited. Let's get into it.
Be good.
Ooh, it kind of swelled. I like that.
Don't say what you don't mean. Deep red, cheap pink. Pour me another one before the words pour out of me. I'll sleep, I'll hide to keep you in my life. I'll dream.
Why didn't he feature her? If she's on every bit of this as a backing vocal. Regardless, they sound beautiful together.
My soil for your seed. Yes, sir. No siege.
My soil for your seed. Sorry, I know that's a late reaction.
I'll bleed, I'll bow.
Claire's doing a great job as backing vocal on this. She's like echoing his every little change in tone and pitch. It makes their vocal really feel like one, you know? Really molds them together.
Sweet fortune.
Sweet. Alright, so that was track 5, Sweet Fortune. So far, this is a very, like, homey record. It's very relaxed, very chill, very cozy. You know what I mean? It doesn't feel particularly adventurous in sound, but it is nice. It's dependable, at the very least. Every single song, I haven't had a single doubt that I'm going to like what I'm hearing, because it is very consistent as a sonic sort of atmosphere. Very, very consistent. The same sound, you're hearing it throughout the album. I loved hearing Clairo on this. I thought she was fantastic. I think I do kind of get why she's not like a feature, because what she's contributing specifically throughout is backing vocals, and I know that she's done vocals already on songs that we've heard, maybe just really in the back. I know she's co-written a lot of this stuff, so she's more of a partner really than a featured artist, so I understand why she wasn't on there. That being said, I thought she did a fantastic job. I thought she killed it as backing vocals. She really stuck to his voice like glue. At times, I honestly kind of forgot that she was on this, you know what I mean? Because it just like, their layered vocals sit so well together. They have a lot of chemistry as vocal partners on this. I don't really know what Sweet Fortune means, though. I kind of get it. I think I kind of get it. You know, this person is his, like, light in the dark, his, like, you know, his North Star. And he's like, I'm going to wish on you tonight, hence Sweet Fortune. But I don't really know what that means, especially with this being, like, literally the sonic centerpiece of the album, but then also the title track. I'm like, I'm not sure what this means, you know? But I know more about it than when we started. So maybe that's something I'll come to understand. All right, let's go to the next track, which is track 6, and it's called Too Many Ways. Ooh. Picking up a little bit. At least in BPM.
I've got no time for anybody. I've got no time for any book. No hands of clock to stop the midnight, to keep you from going off to work. There's always too much time for leaving, but not enough to say goodbye.
Oh, he's well in love now. The vulnerability is gone. He will say it.
I've got life in California.
Ooh, nice bell.
And a family and a band. But I've got a man in Massachusetts who comes to see me when he
Why did I think he had a girlfriend?
and he holds me in the morning, and he holds me through the night.
Yeah, this is... okay, so clearly you can tell I don't know anything about Ryan Beatty because I thought this was some, like, secret thing. But he's proud, that's nice.
Too many ways to say goodbye.
That's a good development. He went from basically having to use secret languages to say I love you to now he's saying there are so many ways to say I love you and too many ways to say goodbye. Which means he's a little bit of an overthinker, is what that means, I guess.
Look out of the airplane window.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Without a worry in mind.
So I guess that doubt is kind of slipping away too.
Knowing he's somewhere down below me, blowing kisses to the sky. A little sugar in the bitter.
Oh, I can hear Clara. Oh, wow.
A silver pearl beneath the brine. He said, there's cold rain and winter frost in Boston, where my arms will keep you warm tonight.
Did he actually say that? Are you dating a poet, my guy?
Life in California, and a family and a band. Too many ways to say goodbye. So many ways to say I love you. Too many ways to say goodbye. So many ways to say I love you. But I hate to say goodbye.
He sounds amazing. So does she.
I love you. You know I hate to say goodbye.
This was gorgeous. Very Americana sonically. The speed picked up a little bit, but it's still very, like, chill, very relaxed, very mellow. And you can see the actual, like, lyrical arc now, I feel like. The first few songs, there were a lot of fears that he was talking about, whether it be the fear of missing out on the right person, the fear of the person he's with leaving him, fear of vulnerability, and now those fears are kind of going away. You know, there's still a little bit of fear here. There is, but it's not necessarily fear anymore. It's more just like, I just don't like it when you're not around me. That's not fear. That's, you know, a natural part of being in a relationship. But yeah, so I think throughout this song, you can kind of hear how he's grown. I felt like the most transparent one was, he says so many ways to say I love you, too many ways to say goodbye. And just a couple songs ago, we were talking about how he's not even able to say I love you properly, so he just finds other secret little ways to say it. And now that's not a problem. Another thing he says is as he's leaving, he says I look out of the airplane window without a worry in my mind, knowing, that he's somewhere down below me. So basically, not he's also just not as doubtful about the relationship anymore. He's not getting ready for that person to leave. He's not getting ready to leave himself. So there's that emotional maturity that you see sort of happening, that little arc that you see happening through the album. I will say it's one of the few songs I've ever heard about a long distance relationship where it sounds like they're coping well. Most songs you hear about a long distance relationship, it's about how things are not going well. So it's good to hear that. The other thing was I heard him mention Boston, and every time I hear a song that mentions Boston in it, I feel like it's just a song about something terrible happening in Boston. I think of like Renee Rapp, I Hate Boston. I think of that one song by Tate McRae, where she shouts out Boston she shouts out Boston in the bridge. What's that called? Revolving Door. Yeah, about like we're running back to the same guy. So it's never a good thing. Every time I hear Boston in a song, it's never a good thing. It's nice to know that Ryan at least has a good relationship with Boston. I think even Noah Khan, we just heard her song about Boston as well, but I think that one's similar to this, of it's every time, for Noah, it was like every time his wife has to leave to go to the Logan Airport in Boston. So I guess it's just Noah and Ryan. Only Noah and Ryan have figured out how to cope with Boston. Yeah, again, loved hearing Clairo on this, like in the little nooks and crannies of the song. She fills them in really, really well. But yeah, I liked this one. This was really sweet. This was a beautiful love song. Alright, let's go to the next track, which is track 7. It's called Delancey. I assume after Delancey Street in New York. I'm pretty sure that's where he did the actual studio sessions for this album. But yeah, I don't know. Let's get into it. Quite the dip in energy. Ooh. Is this gonna be a little bit jazzier? Ooh, I'm excited.
Out of breath, on all fours.
Oh, it's really jazzy.
Felt good in the moment, nothing more.
Oh, is this about
water for chamomile, clothes on the floor. Feels like I've been here or met you before. No, you're just a shadow.
Is this about a hookup?
The shape in the door, leaving me lonely, leaving me slow.
Damn.
Love is so simple and so hard to find.
Yeah, that's real.
I look for it in pictures, I look for it in wine. The bottles are empty and nothing is mine.
I would have expected this earlier in the album when it comes to like the lyrical arc. I will say he spaces out the cadence of, the cadence of his singing is really good. Because this is not very lyrically packed to the brim. It's a long song, but I feel like the actual verse lines are kind of short. That's visceral.
Blood and bone, it's a runaway ticket to the bottom of the barrel. Life is so simple and so hard as mine.
A lot of these songs are following the exact same structure over and over again. Verse, chorus, and then long instrumental outro. This one's like a minute long. I appreciate it, especially since this is such a sonic standout. It's a jazzy. It's very slinky. I like that you can hear the sirens. That really does place it in New York. Alright, so that was track 7. That was called Delancey. Yeah, this one was interesting. It was a huge sonic departure. This was very dark sounding and very jazzy, almost like we were in a jazz club. You know what I mean? The percussion was a little bit more harder to trace. It was like, I don't know. It was very free flowing, which I appreciated actually. It gave the it did a good job of conveying kind of like the somber tone of the song. I felt like you could match this really well to an aesthetic of like nighttime, rain on pavement, it's dark outside, you know what I mean? There's like this little bit of like loneliness there even in the music itself. And the lyrics kind of echoed that. This seems to be about the struggles of finding a relationship, finding someone, hookup after hookup, and that's transparently what this is about. He writes very, very well about even topics like that. Like this was, yeah, this first verse was a visual, and then also the emotional part of it is very visual too. He says like, the one-way tango ballet toes. They say I can glow in the dark, but tonight I'm as dim as the deer you left dead in the road. That's so like guttural and like visual. You can see what he's really saying is that he's seeing someone who's very uncommitted to him, and so it's very one way in that regard, and so they continue to kind of leave him out in the cold. But this actually sort of puts a physicality to how that hurts him. Just so helpless, blood and bone. It's really physical in how it shows you how he's feeling at the end of every single one of these, every single one of the hookups that he's going through. It is interesting, the placement. I would have expected this to be earlier, because it was earlier that we kind of got to see his fears and his insecurities and how he felt about love. And then I felt like in the previous couple of songs we got a resolution. So the fact that he's gone back a little bit is interesting. It doesn't necessarily tell a chronological story in that regard, which not every album does. This isn't an uncommon thing, but just something I noticed. I loved the use of the sirens kind of blaring in the distance. That was also very setting specific. He did a really good job of setting the atmosphere. I could see like a rainy night in New York being the exact kind of visual for this. Like that's what I'm seeing. All right, the next track is track 8. It's called Annie Anything. And I don't know, I was on Twitter briefly, and I saw a lot of stuff about this song, so I think people are really liking this song, but I'm wondering, who is Annie? That's something I don't know. Maybe people who know Ryan Beatty a little bit better know who it is, but yeah, I don't know, let's get into it. Looks like we're definitely back to the original sonic landscape of this album.
Hey Annie, don't close your eyes. Hey Annie, don't tell me lies. For miles and miles I drive just to keep my mind off you. I counted 1,000 moons.
His voice at times reminds me of Shawn Mendes. Or I guess what Shawn Mendes was for a long time. I haven't heard Shawn Mendes' music in a long time.
But I still can't take the pain. I'd give anything to get to you.
Oh, this is gonna be a stripped back one, kind of like what was that first one called? Phantom.
Hey Annie, don't curse me now. And when I get back to town, gonna wish it wasn't true. I'm clutching on 10 and 2 till my palms are burning.
That's a cool visual, the 10 and 2 of the driving wheel. Wow.
Whisper, you don't know what I do, what I lose.
I don't know if I love the decision to keep this so stripped back. I wish this was a little bigger, so that the lyrics matched his desperation, you know what I mean? He's singing about, like, feeling really desperate and stuff, but I'm not necessarily getting that from how laid back the song is. This feels like he's very casually desperate, you know? I love that he keeps bringing the trumpet back. I think that's great. I want more of that. Alright, that was track 8. That was Annie Anything. And I felt like this didn't really give anything. That's a little bit mean. Sorry, I wanted to make the pun. No, it's not that it didn't give anything. I just felt like lyrically and sonically there was a mismatch here. I love the song. I love the lyrics. I think the lyrics are really beautiful. Very much about being desperate to see someone and desperate to stay with them. And Annie herself in this, she doesn't necessarily have a vantage point that he's giving her. She doesn't have, like, you don't get an idea of who the hell Annie is. This is just like almost like a train of thought about Annie. It's literally him obsessing and overthinking about this person named Annie. Don't close your eyes. Don't tell me lies. I'd drive for miles. I've counted. It's about him and how he feels about Annie. You don't get a glimpse of who Annie is throughout the song. Just his desperation. And that makes sense. The song is about his desperation, right? But I felt like if you look at the lyrics and then you look at the song doesn't really match that. Because the song is so stripped back. It's so laid back. It feels like bare. For that amount of emotional feeling of desperation, I would expect that to be a little bit better reflected in the music, you know? That's what differentiates a song from a poem. You know, in the song you use the actual production elements and the melody to contribute to what the lyrics are actually saying. And I think that in this case, the song didn't really do that. And it made it a little bit harder to connect to it or to appreciate the song than it would have if the production actually sort of matched what he's singing about, you know? It's a great song, good song. He's still a really talented songwriter, but this one didn't really do it for me. All right, let's go to the next track, which is track 9, and it's called Dust. I love how twinkling the instrumentation is.
I hate New York.
He's not strumming anything, you know? It doesn't feel that way.
Enough to say, I go back and forth. I love to sing. I hate the sport. I gave it all away. Now I have nothing more. Love of mine, don't cry for me. Love of mine, don't die for me. Even if I ask you to.
Beautiful vocals, wow. Ooh. Getting crazy chills. Ooh, I love that melody. You're the last thing I've left to lose. I like that.
The nights are long and the days are short. If it's not all for you, what do
I do love that lyrically he does a good job of placing the exact setting and the time. Or I guess time is part of setting. You know what I mean? The location and the time. You almost get a picture of exactly where he is and what he's doing. Just because he always offers that detail up.
Love of mine, don't die for me, even if I ask you to.
Ooh. Oh wow.
You're the last thing I've left to lose.
Wow. His voice is very, like, not shaky or frail, but, like, he's really whispering. And then there was that random belt that almost kind of took me out of the song, because I was like, that doesn't fit.
It's all too much.
Alright, so that was track 9, Dust. It ties really well into the imagery of the album, you know, talking about the same sort of motifs of seeds and dirt and flowers and stuff. But I think the song in itself, it's making me realize that I don't necessarily have a lot to anchor this album with. I thought we were going to get a lyrical arc to anchor it with, or some element of that, you know what I mean? But I feel like lyrically, this kind of feels like it touches all sorts of things and it's kind of out of order. So it's made me realize that about the album. The other thing I think is that this is the penultimate track, right? It's the second to last track. It didn't necessarily set up anything. This deviated from what the other songs have been about, you know, about his fears, his relationships, etc. This is more just like, I hate New York and I miss California. Also, lover, I love you. What are we talking about? You know what I mean? Like, I didn't fully grasp onto, like, what he's actually saying here. You know what I mean? Why did he hear this song and put it on the album? What does this serve for him? I think it's that thought process that I'm missing. Just like every other song, I mean, the production is great. The lyrics are really... It's a well-written song. but the song's purpose on the album, where it fits what it's meant to say, is something that I'm missing here. So I didn't really love the song that much. I didn't feel like I connected to it. I think I've heard just a lot better from him. His vocal delivery especially, he like is kind of whispering through the whole track, keeping that same very quiet dynamic, and then randomly on the chorus he like full on belts, and then it's like he proceeds back into a closet. And he's like whispering. It's almost like he's whispering directly into your ear. Which again, he has a beautiful voice. It's lovely. But it's like, it's such an interesting choice. I've realized recently that I'm a little bit more maximalist with how I expect music to be. So maybe this will help me kind of shake out of that. But this is quiet stuff. This is quiet. All right, let's get into the final track. It is already that time. This was a short album. Only like 40 minutes or something. But yeah, let's get into track 10, which is called Fleur de Lis, which is, I'm pretty sure lily. I'm pretty sure that's what the flower that is. But yeah, I don't know. Let's get into it. I will say he uses really timeless instrumentations. This feels like a song you could expect from any era.
Pulling out all of the tried and dead weeds for the lavender, the marigolds and violets. Find the sunshine for your fleur-de-lis, my Louisiana iris. Knowing there's nothing I can do, I would take the blame for everything if I could have you. Pain and pleasure, water and soul, bloom together.
He's really digging deep in the flower and soil and dirt imagery.
Seeds and reap what I sow, 'cause in the dirt all my flowers will grow.
That's pretty. That's a positive way to look at life.
Chip the paint off of the white picket dream.
Does that mean he's giving up on the white picket dream?
So burn it up and fry it.
Oh, I like that sentiment. He's kind of letting go of unhealthy expectations of the relationship, and he's like, whatever we do end up catching, let's just make the best of it.
Knowing there's nothing I can do, I would pay the cost.
But it also feels like he feels unequal in this relationship, because he describes himself as the pawn taking the queen.
I would love the both of us for you.
And so he's trying to like compensate and make up for it.
Love the both of us for you. Pain and pleasure, water and soil, bloom together or wither alone. I throw seeds and reap what I sow, 'cause in the dirt all my flowers will grow.
It's nice to see how much he appreciates live instrumentation. Because there's full orchestras and bands on this. I heard flute for a second there. And you can like almost hear like the high-pitched like creak of the guitar strings moving. That was an abrupt ending, wow. Alright, that was track 10, Fleur de Lis. This was not really much of a closer in my opinion. It provides conclusion in the sense of it's him basically being like, he's going to plant his flowers, he's going to sow his seed, and he's focused on growth. It sends that message, and that is a proper message to send the album off with. But sonically, this didn't really feel like... It didn't necessarily close the album with a flourish, you know what I mean? It didn't really feel like it was used as a closer. And I guess, I mean, nobody really goes into an album making songs being like, I'm going to make this be the closer, and I'm going to write a song now, and that's going to be the intro. You know what I mean? Like, you don't necessarily go into that with that sort of objective. This didn't necessarily tie things up in a bow. This was a messier ending, in my opinion, for an album. I liked the song. The song itself, I feel like it's interesting because it kind of goes full circle. He is singing about love, but I felt like you could kind of hear insecurities. I could just be reading the lyrics wrong, which is, when the writing is this complicated as it is in the song, there is potential for that. But I felt like, along with talking about growth and building something, etc., there was a little bit of insecurity. There was positivity too. Positivity I'll touch first. I loved his description of their relationship, talking about chipping the paint off the white picket fence and, sort of like the fish is caught, so bread it up and fry it. I loved that because it's essentially letting go of the dream, like the American dream that he mentioned. I feel like in Secret Language it was, right? It's kind of letting go of that concept. And instead he's more just saying like, I'm just going to take this for what it is and be thankful for it. That American dream kind of thing, it's not reasonable. It's not always possible. It's kind of dead. It's not something that's possible here. So rather than dwell on that, I'd rather just like be appreciative that I have you with me and just like, I'm going to catch that fish and I'm going to fry it. You know what I mean? I'm going to make the most of a good situation. So, and I mean that, a good situation, rather than seeing the negativity and he's seeing the positivity, So I love that part of it. But throughout this, it kind of feels like he considers him like the lesser half of this person he's with, because he's constantly talking about taking the blame, taking the burden of the loss. I'll love the both of us for you. If only I could love the both of us for you. So it's almost like, it almost feels like a one-way relationship. That's not much to grow from. So that as a message for me kind of conflicted with what he's saying about like, because in the dirt all my flowers will grow. That's such like a cheerful and happy and like sunshiny, takeaway, and yet throughout this this kind of feels like a one-way relationship. Yeah, I don't know. So lyrically there were some things that collided for me, and sonically it just didn't feel like it. And I just felt like sonically this just wasn't an emotional peak, and I think the peaks emotionally, like, they were kind of a long time ago, it feels like to me. I feel like the emotional peak, the where you really felt the most of his emotion, the time where it really felt like he did a good job of conveying it, was all the way back on like Delancey, which was track 7. I feel like this was like underwhelming a little bit. It's nice that he kept up with the symbolism he's been using though, of like nature, tilling, planting seed, etc. Yeah, that's been nice, I guess. Now, when it comes to my thoughts on this album, I think first off, this album lacked a lyrical arc to anchor the album with. There isn't necessarily a chronological story being told. There isn't a completely central topic to the album. The only thing that really continued to pop up in a lot of these songs, in my opinion, was his love songs always had like a little bit of like insecurity or fear laden throughout the love songs, and I thought that was really interesting. I thought that that was something I wish stayed more consistent, especially coming off the back of an album that we just listened to, like You Seem Pretty Sad for a Girl So in Love by Olivia Rodrigo. In that album, that was kind of like the central topic, and I'm not saying he has to do that exact same thing, but I loved hearing that here. I loved hearing those little colors of doubt, that the person that he loves will stick around, or the fear of wasting time with the wrong person when someone else could be out there, someone better for him, or his difficulty in being able to actually say how he feels because he's scared of that vulnerability. All of that, but like in these really richly written love songs. It shows a lot of versatility as a writer. It shows a lot of strength as a writer, that you're able to color your music in that slight way where there's like almost like a tinge of like this other emotion that person is feeling. I felt like for the first half of the album, he kind of goes 100% in on that, right? That's what that first half of the album is. It's explaining his relationship with love and his relationship with these people, and bringing up those little feelings of doubt or of fear or of whatever, right? And then halfway through the album, these fears kind of seem to resolve themselves You know, he talks, you know, in the song Too Many Ways, he kind of talks about how he's found someone who he had so many ways to say I love you to, right? Which is in direct contrast with what he says in Secret Language, where he says, you know, I love you, I say it in a secret language, where he wasn't able to physically say it, so he finds other ways to do it. It's in direct contrast, and so it gives you a glimpse of like the growth that he's seeing mid-album. He also talks about in that same song in Too Many Ways about how he doesn't have an inkling of a doubt when he looks out the airplane window because he knows that person is there. So we get to a really interesting place, and then immediately in the next few songs we shift topics to his experience with hookups and one-sided commitment, you know, his desperation to be with Annie, and who is Annie, because the song tells us nothing about her, right? So I feel like this album stopped just short of lyrical cohesion and then kind of veered off to be less of an intentional statement and more like a collection of songs that he just made over a period of time and then decided to release. You know, it doesn't really tell me much about him or what he's going through. It's not anchored in really anything. The only thing that remained consistent and cohesive for me that this might be anchored in is the production and the sonic landscape, which remains strongly rooted in like country and Americana influences. I think if anything, what was really interesting to see was that even his deviations to other sounds on this album, like for example the jazz that we heard in Delancey, it almost felt like the exception that proved the rule, because that song also provides a lyrical departure, right? We go from talking about this loving relationship that we're in, even if it's a long distance relationship, to like the horrors of hookup culture and this like uncommitted thing he has with this guy, right? And how like and it's like it's painted in a really interesting contrast where the rest of the album feels really sunny and really like light, and then this feels like dark and rainy. You know, it's like that song itself is poised to be more holistically the black sheep of the record, and so it kind of just goes to show how sonically consistent it is, because even when it leaves to go to a different sound, that's tied into the rest of the song because lyrically he does the same. So I think that sonically, I think this complete project was really special, and I loved those production choices that he made. I think the only production related thing that I didn't really love was how quiet and stripped back this album was. And because I felt like at times that directly contrasted with what he was actually singing about. You know, there are of course moments of up and down on this album sonically, like there are upbeat songs, there are ballads, there is movement in that regard, but dynamically it felt like it kind of stayed in the same spot. And there were a lot of places where a more grandiose production would have connected better with the lyrics at times. You know, like my immediate thought goes to Annie Anything, where he's singing about how desperate he is to be with Annie in this really interesting, like overthinking, all-consuming train of thought way, where it's like literally all he can think about, and then yet the vocal delivery and the production are like quiet and cozy, you know, not at all what I would associate with that kind of desperation. And so because of that emotional disconnect between the sound and what he's singing about, it kind of kept me from being able to actually connect with the song. It's not to say that you can't have an entire album that is all sort of slow or all sort of fast. It's that it has to match what's actually, you know what I mean? The pieces have to work together, the lyrics and the sound and all of that. And there were just times where it just didn't feel like the right choice. Overall, I think that there are several songs on here that I really liked. And he's clearly an incredible singer and songwriter. You know, Beyoncé definitely tagged the right person to be on Cowboy Carter because he clearly has this rich appreciation and understanding of the country genre. And I think getting to see that and hear that from him was really, really special. However, as an album, it was kind of unstimulating at times, in my opinion. It left me wanting to know more about who he is and what he was actually going through at the time that led to these songs. What is he trying to say with this album, and why these songs? You know, there would be songs that would come up and I'd be like, this is nice, it's pretty, but why is this here? You know, what was the purpose of giving this to us? What are you trying to say? So I think it was that level of intentionality that I was missing with this album. There when it comes to the bigger picture, when it comes to looking at this album from a bird's eye lens, especially considering how adept of a songwriter he is. When you're this talented of a songwriter, I feel like there's thought or intentionality that goes into looking at the album as a full picture and being like, what does this picture say? What am I painting in this tapestry? What am I doing here? What am I making? And I feel like this is a case where it almost felt like he lost the forest for the trees. Or maybe as a listener, maybe that's what I'm doing, you know, where I'm just not getting that bigger picture of what he's actually trying to say. So it's that level of songwriting intentionality that I'm missing. I mean, I almost forgot to even stop for a second and be like, what does sweet fortune mean? What does that mean? Why is that the literal centerpiece of the album? Why is that the title track? What is the intentionality, you know? How do all these pieces fit together to, you know, to stop being disparate puzzle pieces and actually become a complete picture? I wasn't able to put it together, you know? That being said, I really loved getting to listen to Ryan Beatty and getting an introduction to who he is as an artist. I would love to hear more, so I will definitely be checking out Calico, even if this album didn't completely land for me, just because I know that a lot of people have had really great things to say about Calico. But yeah, other than that, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you want to see more like this, make sure you subscribe, make sure you like the video if you enjoyed it, and comment down below what more you want to see. You know, maybe there's more of Ryan Beatty that I'm missing. I know that he has like a couple of albums he released when he was with Brockhampton. If there are other artists you're interested in, yeah, just, you know, comment down below and let me know. And also I want to restate also that, you know, this is, you know, when it comes to these reactions, it is my opinion. So if you're someone who appreciates the quiet sound of this album, or the sonics that he picked, or the lyrics that he picked, you know, feel that, love that, have your own opinion of the album. I think the fun part of this is getting to share my opinion, and then also getting to hear other people's opinions in the comments, and where we might disagree on certain things, because if anything, it improves my appreciation for the music and all the different perspectives that people can have on it. So definitely let me know how you felt about the album and the reaction in the comments. But other than that, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you guys have a great day.